folks, 965 back again. I had planned to do my tent review or my camera comparison video today. Unfortunately, the weather's just too bad. It's the 6th of February 2016, and for those of you watching in the southwest and possibly further afield, particularly in the southwest because that's where I live, the weather's just far too bad to do any outdoor filming today. We've got no problems being out in it, but it just isn't conducive to a good video. So what I thought I would do is, in the lead up to the camera review, and I talk about my video equipment, because I get a lot of questions about what cameras do you use, have you got external mics, how do you set it up in the field, do you use a tripod, and so on and so on and so on. I thought I'd show you something that I put together quite recently as a very simple, sort of cheap way really of making in the field camera mounts. So basically a lot of us will use these, which are your common old garden variety Basha pole, adjustable length, okay, and it just so happens that the ends of these, okay, I've done this one already, the ends of these they're fractionally under the right size for the threads required for most of the cameras that are out there. It does work, and that's why I'm showing you, and there is enough material there to cut the threads to keep the camera in place. So we're basically talking about turning one of these into a mount for a camera. Okay, so you don't want to go out and spend 20-30 quid on a tripod unless you're really into photography or videoing. But if you go out and spend 6 quid on a pair of Basha poles, not only have you got a pair of Basha poles, but you've also got some height adjustable camera mounts. Okay, so now, I mean, if you use one camera, fine, you can do approach shots, you could use it for, you know, if you're a bug out person or a prepper or whatever, you could use it to monitor the camp, you could use it as camp security. A lot of different reasons for having a fixed point. You might want to get some different shots, you might want to use it as a selfie stick, you might want to do some long reach stuff, you know, so there's a lot of things you can use it for, as well as a Basha pole, and they're cheap. So I'm going to show you what I did to make the mount. It's really quick. I'm also going to show you a couple of little things that I knocked up to keep them upright. So yeah, we'll be back shortly. Okay, so once you've got your Basha pole and you want to put your thread on it, like you can see on that one there that I've already done, okay, you're going to need a die, and a die looks like that. And for those of you that don't know, a die is what's used to cut external threads, and you can see on that one there it's 1/4 by 20 BSW. BSW stands for British Standard Whitworth. Okay, so it's a 1/4 pitch by 20 threads per inch. Okay, and that's basically what a Whitworth, the Whitworth thread is. They don't use Whitworth threads very much these days. A lot of old machinery has Whitworth on, and I can only assume that these cameras have still got Whitworth threads because that's what's always been used. If anyone can tell me the history behind it, I'd certainly be happy to hear it. But you can see on the bottom of this action cam, you know, that's a 1/4 Whitworth thread in there, and you can also see on the shoe here for my other tripod, that is also a 1/4 Whitworth thread. So you need a die. You will also need a die holder or a die handle. Basically, there's a little set screw in the side. You remove the set screw, you line up the dimple in the die with the hole in the die holder, and then you put the screw back in. Shame I'm all fingers and thumbs, eh? And that's you ready to go. Okay, so what you'll need to do is, first of all, undo the release mechanism, and I gather that some of the more newer versions of these actually have a twist lock system similar to walking poles. So you take that piece out, okay, put that one aside, and then what you need to do is remove this end from the pole. Now you might have to give it a bit of a coaxing. I've loosened this one off for the quickness of the video, okay, and that's what you're left with there. That's all they are in the ends. And then what you'll need to do is remove this so that you can clamp the other end in a vise, and I just use a pair of mole grips for that. Just grip it tightly and just wind it backwards and forwards as you pull. And they're actually quite long, they're in there quite far, but there you go. So that's the stopper. That's all. They're just a press fit, they're not even glued in usually, and then you're left with the opposite end there. So that's the end I've cut the thread on, and that's the opposite end that's pushed into the plastic. So we'll go to the vise and I'll show you cutting the thread. Okay, so what I've had to do is just turn down a little bit of material in the lathe to show you the cutting of the threads, because I've done both the basher poles now and I haven't got any more to cut. Okay, so what you'll need to do is just measure this shaft part of the basher pole. Should be about 6mm or just over 6mm slightly. Any less than 6 and you might struggle to put the threads on to the basher pole. I say there's enough threads on here to actually fit the camera, but any less than 6 and you might struggle, and I'll throw in a picture to show you what I mean. So to show you the actual cutting process, I've actually got some steel ready in the vise there, and what you're going to do, get your die and your die tool. Okay, that will be the bottom, that will be the top, because this flange stops the die pushing up and out of the tool. So you want to get it located on the top of your piece of steel, okay, and you want it to be at 90 degrees to the part you're cutting the threads on. So what you're going to do is you're going to apply downward pressure, okay, and you're going to try and get it, I call it getting started, but you're going to get the die started on cutting the threads, and it can be a bit of a job to get it started actually. So pushing down and trying to keep the tool as square as possible. You might want to put your hand right on the top to push down on it to get it started, but once you've got it started, you'll find that it should go relatively easily, and it will get tight, and that is it cutting the threads. So as it gets tight, okay, back it off and you'll see the little chips breaking out of the bottom, and then wind it again. So I would say give it half a turn and then wind it back, and you'll feel the chip break. Wind it on another half a turn, wind it back, wind it on, 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 and basically you're going to do that for as much or as little threads as you want to put on. You could go all the way down the basher pole if you wanted to, if you wanted to put different things on there. Obviously bearing in mind that the amount of threads in the bottom of your camera is not normally very much. Wind it back, wind it on. Okay, so you can see there the two different threads. The one on the left has got threads right to the end, and the one on the right has got no threads right on the very end. So what you'll have to do there is just cut it off with a hacksaw to where the threads actually start. It's basically due to the ends of the basher poles. If they've been used, then they've normally been bashed or dented or slightly squashed, and it means there's not quite enough material there. As I was saying, it needs to be at least 6 at the very least, or you're going to struggle to cut your threads. So once you have cut them, okay, you're going to want to put your basher pole back together, and it's really easy. You get that started in there, okay, take a little tapping stick, and all you're going to do is just tap it on. Don't hit it too hard as it gets further in, because what you'll do is you'll punch a hole in the bottom of there, and then that will actually just go all the way through and it'll be knackered. Then all you're going to do is put that back into the end of your pole like that, okay, and if you've got a desk with holes in it, then fine, you can just put the shaft through the hole, or you can put it back in your vise. You're just going to give it a little tap. That's located it nice and flush back inside there, and you're going to put that back in there, and there you go. Your basher pole is now back together, okay, but it's got threads on the end. So once it's all back together, it's just a simple case of taking your camera, whichever one you want to use, and locating it in the bottom and doing it up. Now this one's a little bit wonky because this basher pole has seen some service, which is a bit of a shame, But there you go, you can now use it to mount your camera on however you want to. Another modification that I've done is I've drilled 4 holes in the bottom of the legs. So if you want it on a calm day, you want to just put some pegs in the bottom of there to hold it upright while you use it for filming, it will be fine. Or something else I've also made is a set of guy wires for it. Got a little aluminium collar there, which is obviously not necessary. You can just tie the paracord around this part here, which will be fine, but I do like turning little bits and pieces like that, and once I've got the lathe going, it's not a problem. So all you basically got is a set of paracord guy wires, and you can use whatever colour you like. Obviously I've done luminous orange because I don't want to trip over stuff, and then it's simply, that slides on the top of there. You put you put your guy wires out to wherever you want to guy them out. And you just guy them out and tie them down, and that'll keep your pole up in windy conditions. Right, that's it. Just a short one, just a quick video really to keep the channel going, just give you an idea there. Obviously once you've bought that die, you can make as many different mounts as you like. I've made a 3 camera mount here so that I can do my comparison, and hopefully that'll be next week. I'm going to put 3 different cameras on, and I'm actually going to film the same stuff in the same conditions with all 3 cameras at the same time, so you can get an idea of what does what. There's going to be a bullet cam, an action cam, and also the one that I'm talking to you on now, so I'll be able to give you an idea of what I use and what the quality and the sound and everything else is like. So we'll have a little look at that. I've also got an extended selfie stick that I've made from an old window cleaning pole, so I can show you that. So we'll do a video on video equipment, but that's it for now. I've got to carry on with what I was doing. Hope that was of some interest to you. Couple of cheap old Basha poles. So say, once you bought the die, you can make as many you can make as many mounts as you want, different angles. Put them on your vehicle, put them on your go-kart, put them on your dog, whatever. Once you can cut that thread, you can then make mounts however you want. So yeah, £4 die, £5 die there, and you possibilities are endless. Cheers everyone, we catch you later.